Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back once again to Today in African History with Baba Shaka. I'm Baba Shaka, and today is April 19, 2021. Now, first and foremost, I would like to begin by wishing all of my Muslim brothers and sisters around the world Ramadan Mubarak. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your fast, reward your good deeds, and forgive your misdeeds, inshallah. Now, many of you are aware of one of the important issues facing African people in the United States today is what is known as gentrification. Now, for those of you who are not aware, you may be wondering, what exactly is gentrification? Well, gentrification is the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed when wealthier people, usually white people, move in, improving housing and attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants, usually black people, in the process. Over the past decade or so, this process has been occurring in cities all over the United States. Wealthy, mostly white people come in, transform a part of the neighborhood, thereby driving up the tax rates, thereby making it difficult or impossible for the people who live there, usually black people, to remain in their homes, resulting in them being forced out. This is, of course, creating some would say have already created, a housing crisis for African people all over the country. But this is certainly not the first time that black people have faced a crisis in housing. And gentrification is the process of pushing us out, and there was a time when the focus was on keeping us out. All over these here yet to be United States, all manner of tactics were put in place to keep black people out. Of course, Seattle, Washington was no different. But on this date, April 19, back in 1968, something called Operation Equity was successful in combating anti-black barriers that were erected in Seattle. Now, although racially restricted housing covenants had been banned by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1948, various forms of de facto housing segregation kept Africans in America relatively isolated in urban spaces, including the city of Seattle. Many white homeowners in the years following the court's decision were apprehensive about letting black families into the community for fear that it would lead to the deterioration of the neighborhood. In 1960, King County Superior Judge, I should say, James W. Hodson ruled that private property owners had the right to choose who to sell to, effectively granting permission to realtors and homeowners to discriminate based on race. Now, local civil rights leaders created the open housing movement in Seattle to challenge the type of thinking that was behind the 1960 county court decision. They advocated open housing, which argued that people with resources should be able to purchase a home in any section of the city. They called for legislation which would make it illegal for individuals to discriminate against someone when selling property. Proponents of open housing were opposed to the isolation of black families in the Central District, which was the city's African American area, where higher poverty rates and poor schools plagued the community. Now, local civil rights groups used various tactics to promote open housing, including a fair housing program known as Operation Equity, a program that would encourage black home purchases throughout the city and in its suburbs. Now, in 1967, the Seattle Urban League received a $130,000 grant from the Ford Foundation to expand Operation Equity. The program helped arrange the sale of property in white neighborhoods to black families. Now, with the help from the grant, Operation Equity was able to place an average of 10 families per month in formerly all-white neighborhoods. Now, despite some opposition from the Black Power movement and from conservative white homeowners, open housing was eventually welcomed by blacks and whites in Seattle. On April 19, this date, but back in 1968, after 2 decades of civil rights activists fighting de facto residential segregation, the city council finally passed an open housing ordinance. Operation Equity was an important program in facilitating that transformation in Seattle. Yesterday, the fight was to get in. Today, the fight is to stay in. And whether it's yesterday or today, the fight continues into tomorrow. Now, I've had a number of comments and questions concerning the clothes that you see me in on this program. And many of my outfits are made by people who I know personally and who live in the Washington, D.C. area. Even though I do have a friend in Patterson, New Jersey, who also, as they say, hooks me up. This outfit that I'm wearing today was put together by my good friend and brother, Ousmane Seck in Bowie, Maryland. Inshallah, I leave his name and telephone number down in the comment section. He makes clothes for men and women, and he's fantastic. No, we cannot end today's program without thanking those of you who have subscribed to this channel. No matter how many times we say thank you, it will never be enough. To those of you who have not yet subscribed, we implore you to hit that subscribe button down below and add your much needed support to this project of bringing you these daily lessons. Please like and leave a comment down in the comment section. But most importantly, please share, especially with the young amongst us. So, until tomorrow, inshallah, this is Baba Shaka with Today in African History. Masalam.